Okay, let's jump right in. If you've ever felt like you're working your absolute tail off, but your bank account, well, it just isn't reflecting all that effort, trust me, you are not alone. Today, we're unpacking a really powerful framework called the 60-minute wealth system. We're going to take a highly structured weekly routine, just 1 hour, we call the money hour, and show you how it can shift you from just hoping you have enough to save to systematically building actual wealth. Think about your daily habits for a second. Research actually shows most of us check our phones over 150 times a day. 150 times. We're just constantly wired in, right? Constantly swiping through notifications, emails, and social media feeds. And yet, despite being so plugged in, we actively avoid the one weekly habit that actually builds financial freedom, and that's tracking our own net worth. It's crazy. We endlessly repeat daily habits that have absolutely nothing to do with our money while totally avoiding the exact steps that create it. So here is our exact game plan for today. First up, the personal finance trap. Second, tracking and moving money. Third, growing wealth and killing debt. Fourth, the most overlooked step. And finally, we'll look at the system in action. Let's kick things off with Section 1, the personal finance trap, and why simply having a budget just isn't enough. Here is the brutal reality we have to face. Right now, 34% of Americans, that is roughly 88 million adults, report being in a financial crisis. And that's a massive 55% jump in just 5 years. The wild part? This isn't from a lack of intelligence, and it's certainly not from a lack of hard work. Actually, consider this. Even though the median weekly earnings for full-time workers have hit over $1,200, the personal savings rate has literally plummeted down to just 2.6%. So to put that into perspective, people are earning more cash than ever before, but they are keeping way less of it. And this perfectly reveals the ultimate trap. On paper, it doesn't really make sense, right? 69% of people say they live paycheck to paycheck. Yet 86% of those exact same people claim to have a budget. They know their numbers, but they're still broke. This tells us that information just isn't the problem. The real issue is waiting until you feel rich to start managing your money, instead of realizing that managing your money is exactly how you become rich. You don't just need a budget, you need a hardwired system that works even when you're totally exhausted. All right, moving into Section 2, tracking and moving money. This is really the foundation of the whole shebang. So this 1 hour weekly system is broken down into 6 very actionable steps. It takes less than 60 minutes once a week, and I promise you, running this consistently will do more for your financial life than any raise or lucky stock pick ever could. Step 1 forces you to face the ultimate financial scoreboard every 7 days. You sit down and calculate your exact net worth. That's just everything you own, your cash, investments, property, minus everything you owe, like credit cards and loans. Now, I know most people are terrified of this number, but you cannot change a number you refuse to look at. Fidelity's data actually shows that people who set clear, specific financial goals are the ones who successfully keep their resolutions. Your net worth is the score, and you simply can't win a game you aren't actively watching. Once you actually know the score, steps 2 and 3 are all about running a quick budget check and literally moving your money. Think about this. 55% of Americans plan to cut subscriptions to save money, but they never get around to it. Doing a budget check every 7 days catches those hidden leaks immediately. But the real magic is in step 3, automation. Trying to use your own willpower to save whatever happens to be left over at the end of the month, that almost always fails. A real system automatically transfers your money into savings and investments before you can spend a single dime of it. When you pay yourself first, your brain just recategorizes that money as gone, and you naturally adapt your lifestyle to whatever is actually left in checking. When you pay yourself first, your brain just recategorizes that money as gone, and you naturally adapt your lifestyle to whatever is actually left in checking. Let's jump to Section 3, growing wealth and killing debt, the real growth engine of this framework. Think about this massive figure for a moment. $453,000. This is exactly what investing just $50 a week into a broad, low-cost S&P 500 index fund becomes after 30 years. Over the last 3 decades, the S&P 500 has averaged a 10.3% return. So if you invest that $50 weekly, you're only putting in about $78,000 of your own hard-earned cash. The rest of this nearly $500,000, that is pure automated compounding doing the heavy lifting for you. It's like the old saying goes, you didn't get rich from being smart. You got rich from being consistent. Dollar cost averaging through all the crazy ups and downs of the market completely removes emotional panic, which is honestly the ultimate return killer. The people who actually build wealth, They aren't trying to predict elections or time the stock market. They're just letting their money hour trigger that investment every single week. They buy more shares when the market is down and fewer when it's up, completely taking their emotions out of the driver's seat. But listen, while you're growing that wealth, you absolutely have to protect it. So for step 5, instead of making the minimum payments on all your different debts, which, by the way, keeps you trapped forever, you want to relentlessly attack one high-interest credit card. These cards compound daily at insane rates, usually between 18 and 30%. By throwing all your extra weekly cash at this single target, you drop that balance incredibly fast. And FICO data shows consumers see a really meaningful improvement in their credit scores within just 12 to 18 months of doing this consistently. And better credit scores mean lower interest rates on literally everything else you buy. Okay, on to section 4, the most overlooked step, which is all about expanding your earning power. It is honestly shocking that U.S. adult financial literacy has flatlined at just 49% for a whole decade. I mean, despite the endless stream of podcasts, apps, and books out there, people are still getting basic finance questions wrong half the time. This just proves that passively sitting back and consuming information doesn't work. So, your final 15 minutes of the money hour are all about treating your brain like a high-value asset. You dedicate this time to actively learning a new skill or strategy to boost your income. And to be clear, this is not scrolling through social media for random tips. This is specific, active learning. So 1 week, you might check to see if you're missing out on free money from your employer's 401k match. Another week, you could study up on the tax benefits of a Roth conversion, or even look into high-income skills like coding or financial modeling. You are systematically making yourself more valuable. Finally, section 5, let's look at this system in action for a median earner. Watch how these totally manageable, small weekly numbers synthesize into an absolute wealth-building machine. Let's say our median earner finds $120 a month in forgotten subscriptions. Boom, that is $1,440 a year in found money. Then they automate $75 a week into a high-yield savings account earning 4 to 5%. They push $50 a week into a Roth IRA investing in the S&P 500, and they throw just $30 extra a week at a 24% interest credit card. The absolute beauty of this timeline is that you don't need a massive 6-figure salary to make this work. You just need the remarkable consistency of an automated system. By month 14, that $75 a week has built a fully funded 3-month emergency fund. By month 19, that extra $30 a week has completely wiped out their high-interest credit card debt, saving them hundreds in interest. And by year 30, that $50 weekly investment has blossomed into over $453,000. So here is the absolute ultimate takeaway today. A household earning $150,000 that manages to save 20% of their money will always outpace a $250,000 household that only saves 5%. Yes, your income absolutely matters, but the gap between what you earn and what you spend, that is the true measure of your potential wealth. Systems will always beat willpower. You know the personal finance trap now. You have the actual math showing you the incredible power of consistency, and you've seen exactly how this 6-step system works in action. So the only question left for you is, are you going to let another week slip by on autopilot, or will you take 60 minutes today to permanently alter your financial destiny?